Martial arts taught incorrectly. So if we take martial arts coming from centuries ago, born out of warfare, born out of the battlefield, to have those techniques today that don't work, that doesn't make sense because any technique that didn't work would get you killed, meaning that technique would die with you because the people implementing this technique get killed off. The techniques that work would survive and keep going. Evolution. If you look at a kata from any martial art, stop randomly and ask whoever is in charge, where is the other person in relation to me right now? As I'm doing this, where are they? Ask, why am I doing this? So with, I think one of the most recognizable things from karate is hikitai, which is my arm comes back as I throw a punch, my arm comes back as I throw a punch. There are still some people out there training this and teaching this, saying it's a power generation thing. By pulling this arm back, I'm doubling the power of throwing this forward. It's alarming to me that people in this day and age still think that, because you don't see it in MMA, you don't see it in boxing. If it generated power, you would see professional boxers, people who punch for a living, who dedicate 100% of their time to punching for a living, would be doing it. Here, if I throw a right punch, my left side's going to come back anyway. That's just natural body mechanics. Hikitai is this arm that's out front is supposed to be grabbing you. It's if you're like this, it's grabbing your arm and pulling your arm out of the way and pulling you off balance as I then come in either with a strike or a stab. I'm exposing your neck and under the arm, which wouldn't have strong armor, so I can get my dagger in there and stab you to death. That's what it's for. Hikitai is a tactical move, not a power generator. If traditional martial arts are getting something as simple as that wrong, what's the likelihood that they're training everything else correctly? So I've mentioned him several times on this channel. The great Ian Abernethy with his bunkai, which is the practical application of the kata. He's the guy to look at for this. Outside of the UK, you've got a guy called Jesse Enkamp. He's done a lot of work. He's done a few videos with Ian Abernethy. He's looking at how does this actually relate to properly getting stuck in. Also on YouTube, you've got guys like Sensei Sensei Seth. You've got guys like Icy Mike taking traditional or more traditional versions of martial arts and saying, well, how would it actually work today in this situation? A lot of martial arts is trained in a way where it's good for getting money into the club. It's good for keeping everybody in this room happy and making you think that you can fight, but I'm actually just doing it to keep your money coming in. It's not what martial arts should be, and we're losing the art because it's not being taught properly. Now, having said that, I also believe that every single martial art on the planet needs to evolve with the times. That martial art, whatever that martial art might be, was created and developed for its specific time period where it was needed. It has progressed. So martial arts, we do this because this is the way the old masters used to do it. With all due respect, fuck the old masters. The old masters weren't dealing with a 6'4" rugby player with a 22-inch neck who's off his fucking face on Ket on a Saturday night. I might be as a bouncer, you know. The old masters weren't dealing with very sophisticated, even though we might not want to acknowledge it, street gangs that we get today. So each martial art needs to evolve and change with the times that it's trying to protect its people against. That's what martial arts is. If you look at it, if you're looking at it as a self-defense thing, you're taking this set of skills to defend you against crime that is prevalent in your society today. That's why we're not training for things for 100 years ago. So the art, the system, the way of utilizing these physical techniques must change to keep up with the times. So if you are in a club and you look at something and go, I don't think that would work, and the pushback is, well, it was good enough for the old masters. It's not today, though, is it? You know, have a think about that. Are you doing it for the sake of the art, or are you doing it because you want something that's going to be usable if you get attacked? When you look at stuff and they go, well, it was good enough for the old masters. Okay, ask whoever it is who tells you that. Ask them what car they drive, and then ask them if the old masters had that type of car. No, the old masters either would have ridden a horse or walked. Well, if that's good enough for the old masters, why are you driving a car? Don't be confrontational with people for the sake of it, but if you are going to get told we do this way, even though we know it won't work because the old masters did it, ask logical questions to follow up. So I personally believe that a lot of martial arts are being taught incorrectly. I believe, as is with karate, if today they started teaching karate properly, by tomorrow morning, 95% of the people worldwide doing it would have dropped out. Any comments? Let me know. I look forward to reading them.